A man named Eric Arnold, who spent decades working as a carpenter, finally purchased a home in Georgia in February of 2022. He was going to renovate it and he wanted to provide a home for his family and his children to create generational family wealth, as one does in this country. Now, however, he is beside himself because that home he was building and working on was just demolished. Here you have images of him in what used to be his home. This is via Atlanta Black Star. Macon-Bibb County officials demolished the home without informing him or allowing him the opportunity to challenge the decision in court. Last week, Arnold filed a lawsuit against Macon-Bibb County, accusing the county of violating his constitutional rights by destroying his home without due process and for retaliating against him for trying to stop the demolition.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Guys, he's not alone. He's the 9th homeowner to sue the county over having their homes demolished without due process under the quote blight tax ordinance passed in 2019 to raise money for the county by demolishing blighted homes, which describe them as uninhabitable, unsafe, or abandoned structures. Now, that would normally be fine if someone didn't have a deed to that home and wasn't working on that home, saving up the money to renovate that home. You cannot just demolish people's private property, but it seems like that's what happened. And the county passed a law that said that that was okay. Photos show that Arnold, however, did make significant improvements to the house over 21 months since buying it before it was demolished. The lawsuit filed by the Institute for Justice on behalf of Arnold, which is a libertarian nonprofit seeking to end the widespread abuses of government power, states that the county went through with the demolition to teach Arnold a lesson to not challenge the county government. That's interesting. And it's interesting that a libertarian organization would actually be on the right side of something. But look, government overreach is a problem. And especially when it comes to, let's be real, Black and brown Americans, and historically, whenever they actually own something. Rather than heeding Eric's pleas not to tear down his house, the county responded by making the destruction of Eric's house a, quote, high priority and expedited its demolition. The county even tasked the demolition crew with moving its equipment on and off of Eric's property the same day as the demolition to prevent Eric from knowing when exactly the demolition would occur. So that means they psyched him out. They were like, oh, we're going to do it now. No, we're going to do it later. So they were deliberately messing with him. Mm-hmm. Although Eric's house was a work in progress, it certainly wasn't a menace requiring unilateral extrajudicial and expedited demolition through the mayor's power to abate per se nuisances that threaten neighborhood safety. So the county's pushing back, but this is wild that it's not just him. It seems like he's the only one who's gotten lawyered up, and he's now affiliated with an organization that is willing to sue the county over what they did. But Sharon, we prize home ownership in this country. And then, and I'm sorry that it's a fixer-upper and you couldn't do it in 21 months, but this is just devastating.
Yeah, Macon-Bibb County officials declared trauma and war on one of their own citizens. It really is akin to a form of domestic terrorism. As you said, moving the equipment on and off. Blight's a real problem, and we don't always want to live next door to a neighbor who's struggling with his or her property, brings down the value, whatever. But you're right. Home ownership is the prize. Less and less Americans are ever going to be able to do it. The county is supposed to assist him as he, this is not a case of someone who just ignored all the notices, absentee landlord, blah, blah. This is a man who wanted his property and was trying his best. Why not assist him instead of messing with him?
Right. And it's important to know that when the order to demolish was issued, the home was under a different name. But this gentleman purchased the home, worked for many years as a carpenter, so Eric Arnold would have been able to fix it up and was fixing it up, and the county just didn't do their due diligence in making sure that it was actually under different ownership, right? I mean, this is the entire thing about who's going to revitalize these homes. Like, what is the solution? You should celebrate someone who is doing exactly that, especially if the county's not going to, let's say, give the former owner, a leg up or assist them in making sure there aren't so-called blights. Which is, yeah, I understand. Nobody wants an empty or abandoned building or a building that looks haunted, like it's scary. But also, like, you can't just demolish someone else's property.